Today, I want to share with you the top 10 must-have makeup brushes. You're gonna see a lot of brushes in this video, not just 10, because I want to give you options in every single category. Let's begin with the face. Foundation brushes. I have 4 in my hand. If you were to ask me out of all of these 4, I had to choose only one, I would most likely go with the Cosmetics, their Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection number 7 brush. This right here retails for $48. And the reason why I like it so much is because it's so versatile. I can use it for so many makeup products, not just foundation. It's so soft and it's so dense. It just blends everything so nicely, so evenly, and it gives that airbrush look. And I don't mind that it's so small. I know a lot of people complain about that, but it just works so heavenly, literally in the name. And then the other side, and the other dual side, it has this little tiny dense concealer brush. I use this for concealer. I use this to carve out any areas on my face with any cream products, and I also use this for my eyeshadow. The next one I would choose would be my Bobbi Brown. I have a love affair with this brush. Whenever I don't use it, I always think about it. This one right here is $52. So slightly more than the Cosmetics, but it's only one-sided brush. But this one is definitely the softest out of all the 4. It's a little more dense, and it definitely has a bigger brush head. And I also use it for many products, not just foundation. I like it for my concealer. I like it for my cheek products. I like it for my powder products. I mean, this little guy can do a lot of things, and I do think it's definitely worth every single penny. These next 2 I think are phenomenal, cheaper options. The first one is Real Techniques. This is their 200 brush, which is the Expert Face Brush, and depending where you purchase it, it's around $9.99. Same thing, again, for any powder products, liquid products, not just your foundation. I will say it's the most dense brush out of the 4, but it also does a really beautiful job blending and get really beautiful results. And then last but not least, the e.l.f. buffing brush, and this one retails for $6. But I really like this one because it's definitely more of that dome shape instead of like this one right here. It's a little more flat like the Real Techniques. This one has a nice dome shape, and also, again, just like the rest of these brushes, very versatile from foundation, concealer. It's really, really good. Concealer time. 4 brushes again. If I had to choose one, ooh. This is by Spectrum, and this is collaboration with Katie Jane Hughes. She's a makeup artist on Instagram. She is phenomenal. And I will say it's a very expensive brush set. It's a 25 piece, or the 26. 25 piece brush set. It's for your face and your eyes. $230, but let me tell you, worth every single penny again. And this in particular is the brush number 8. It fits under your eye so beautifully, and the way it just spreads your concealer out, it just does such a beautiful job. This next one I really appreciate is by Rare Beauty, and this is their concealer brush, $16. It has a very different shape. It's supposed to kind of mimic the back of your finger, or just depending which way you look at it, and it's supposed to kind of mimic your finger, and really gets into every little crevice on your face, around your nose, around your eyes. It's really, really beautiful, and it gives you a very full coverage with this brush. These next 2 are by Real Techniques. They're actually not concealer brushes, but I love them for concealer. The first one is their 402 brush, which is their setting brush. This retails for $7.99, or depending where you purchase it. It's the biggest brush out of the 4, but because it has this really nice dome shape to it, it's a little more fluffy. It's not as dense. You don't get as high of a coverage, but it's such a natural finish, and it's so stunning. And this next one is their Deluxe Crease Brush. It's actually an eyeshadow brush, but because it's so densely packed and it's so small, it's so nice. It gets right into the inner corners, and again, it gives a really beautiful full coverage finish. I feel like any brush out of these 4, you can't go wrong. Let's move on to contour and bronzer. So this right here, I do have 2 different types of brushes I like to use, but I'll share with you why. This right here is my favorite brush of all time. It's the Fenty Beauty, her number 125 face brush. This right here retails for $34. It is expensive, but I've had this in my collection for quite a while now, and it's such a beautiful brush. It cleans really well, but the way it performs with any product that I've tried, it just blends everything so seamlessly, and I love the shape of this. It has this angled shape, and because it's so dense but it's so soft, it just blends anything out so beautifully and so seamlessly, unless the product is just, it's not great. then, you know, can't do much. Next brush that I really like, this one is more for like powder bronzers and contours. This one's by Ulta Beauty, and this is their bronzer 21 brush. This retails for $16, and it's a really, really nice brush. It's not too big, but it's not too small. This will give you more of like an all over bronze look instead of just focusing in one area, but you can focus in one area if you'd like. It's gonna be a little bit more of a diffused look, not super sculpted and structured, but because it's a dome shape and it kind of tapers off towards the top, I really appreciate that you can be a little bit more precise instead of just super, super big, like something like this. But I do really like this one because it is super, super soft. It's not super tight and densely packed, but it does give you a really beautiful airbrushed, bronzy or contoured look depending on what you're going for. I think the next brush that I want to mention is the Anissa Beauty. This one is newer to my collection, but this is their buffing bronzer brush, and this shape is so intriguing because all of these, the other two that I have, is very different, but this one is more of like this oblong shape, and it's super, super, super dense, like it's extremely dense, but very soft. And this one's really great for cream products where you really want to stamp out the product and then really just buff it out. It is expensive. It is $34 as well, but I think it's definitely worth it, and it's newer to my collection. That's why I wanted to mention it, but I would definitely go for the Fenty Beauty if you're gonna fork out the money. That's what I want to say. Blush brushes. This right here is by IT Cosmetics, and this is their Airbrush Soft Focus Brush number 113. This retails for $24, and I really like this one because it has that angled shape to it, but because it's a little more dense, it really blends blushes and bronzers like a dream. The next one is by Real Techniques, and this one is definitely more on the bigger side. This is their number 400 brush, or their blush brush, and this one retails for $9.99 depending where you purchase it from, which retailer. But I like this one more for powder blushes that I want more of like a soft, diffused, not really focused in one area type of a look for a blush, but because it has kind of that dome shape and it's very, very soft and it's not as densely packed, I think it just does a really beautiful job distributing the blush. Last but not least, this one is by Flower Beauty. This is newer to my collection, but ever since I've got it in my collection, I've been obsessed with it. This right here is her Precision Blush Brush, $14, and I love how small and petite this blush brush is, and it has this really nice dome shape to it, and it's a little more tapered towards the top, so like in the name, you could be more precise with it. Definitely the least packed out of the four, and you can use it both for cream, liquid, or powder. Powder brushes right here. I can't choose just one, I need two. Actually 3. So I'm gonna begin first with the big powder brush. This right here is by Real Techniques. This is their 201 powder brush, and this retails for $9.99. This right here is good for all over brush for your face because it will get into everything, but it's so soft. It has that nice density, but it's not super, super dense where it's just gonna give you a cake face. Moving on, I love their setting brush by Real Techniques. So I find that if I want to use it under my eyes, around my nose, on my T-zone in certain areas, this does a phenomenal job. Another option is the Japanesque brush. This is their 713 brush, and it's $15. This one is the most dense and the most round. I do appreciate how soft it is, and also does a phenomenal job applying powder. Highlighter time. I only have 2 because these are the only 2 that I like to use. The first one is by IT Cosmetics, and this is their highlight brush. It's the number 140, $22, and I love the shape of this. It's a little more densely packed, but it's so soft, and the way it hits the tops of your cheekbones, your nose, and your brow bone, I really, 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 really like this one. This next one is by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is her 823 brush, $25. I like this one because it's not as tightly packed as the Cosmetics, and it has more of a flat top instead of a dome shape, and it's not as tapered. It just provides a magical airbrushed soft finish to any highlighter. Eyeshadow time. First one, MAC 217. This right here is a classic. It's $28. I think this was the very first eyeshadow brush I ever purchased in my life. I've had this one for years and I have, I think, 4 or 5 backups because I love it so much. It gets right into the crease really easily. Really beautiful crease brush. This next one, they're actually by Sephora, 2 of them, but they're different brushes. So this first one is the Pro Crease 27 brush. This right here retails for $20. And I like this one because it's a little bit more round. So if I want just kind of like an all over eyeshadow brush and eyeshadow look, this is the brush I'll use because it's bigger, it's a little more fluffy, and I feel like I get more of a diffused look. And this next one is the Sephora Pro Crease 24 brush. I like this one because it's a lot smaller, it's longer, so I can get more precise into the crease, into the inner corner, in the lower lash line. Is just a really beautiful brush. And I like Sephora brushes because they're not too expensive, but the quality is really, really phenomenal for the price. And again, I've had these in my collection for years and they wash really well. Like I said, the quality is phenomenal. And then a great brush for a really low price of $4. This is the e.l.f. their crease brush. I really like this one because it kind of mimics the Sephora 24 brush, but it's a little more fluffy and it's not as dense. So this one I like to use in my crease to kind of really blow out, diffuse any kind of eyeshadow or be a little bit more precise in the outer corner. Phenomenal. Next, we have eyeshadow packing brushes. They're definitely more of a flat shape, or they have a really dense, like a really thick density to them. So the very first one I think I want to mention is a classic, the MAC. This is the 242 brush. Again, it's been in my collection for a very long time. The numbers have pretty much have come off. This right here retails for $28. I like this one because it's nice and thin, but it's really beautiful for shimmery shades or just a shadow that you need to pack a punch. This is phenomenal. The next one is by Natasha Denona. She has beautiful brushes. I have every single one from her collection and I think they do a phenomenal job, but this one has a special place in my heart. This is her number 6 brush. This retails for $18 and I love how small it is, how thin it is, but this one's really beautiful for that detail work. Again, if you need to cut out that crease, if you need to go on the lower lash line, but I love that it really packs on the eyeshadow really intensely, or you can diffuse it if you'd like, and you can also use it for like a lower shadow shader brush. It's really, really stunning, multiple different uses. The next one I have to give a shout out is to Rare Beauty. This is newer to their line, but this right here retails for $16 and it's perfect for any cream or liquid eyeshadows. It's the thickest of all of them, but it's supposed to also mimic your finger as you were going to apply a cream or a liquid eyeshadow, and because when you use a finger, it just applies eyeshadow so nicely and it packs that punch. I love this one for cream eyeshadows. And the last but not least, Spectrum, Katie Jane Hughes. I'm gonna mention the number 20 brush because I love how tiny it is. It's so flat, so it's really beautiful for precision and again, really cutting out anything on your eyelids, but it really does a great job packing on the eyeshadow. Really stunning. Next category, eyeshadow / liner brush. These ones are more for detail, eyeliner detail, things like that. Let's begin with my number 1 favorite. This is by Bobbi Brown. This is her ultra fine eyeliner brush. It's the most expensive, retailing for $31. It's expensive for one little tiny brush. This little bad boy is very, very, very magical. It's very flat, like very, very thin, but it has this nice round shape to it, which is so stunning. I love the little tip and it has a nice density to it. So it's a little more stiff, but it's also nice and soft. Love this brush. Next one is by MAC. This is their 212 brush and it's a flat shader brush. I think that's what they call it. Yeah, it's a flat definer brush, $25. I love this one for the lower lash line, like right up the lashes, or for the top lash line to get really close to your lashes. Really, really great for powder, cream, and liquid. And then last but not least, these two are very similar but different. The first one is by ABH. This is her 12 brush. It's basically for your eyebrows, but I also love it for eyeliner because the brush is so precise. It has a nice angle shape, but I do prefer this more for my brows. But if I'm going on a trip and I don't want to take as many brushes, this is the one I'll go with, or I'll go with the Spectrum by Katie Jane Hughes, the number 23 brush. It's so much smaller than the ABH brush, but I really like this for the inner corner of my eyes. If I'm creating like a foxy eye or I really want to be precise with my eyeliner, this is the one I will go with. And also has a spoolie on the other side. So last but not least, it's a category just for like little detail brushes that I think are somewhat essential for a lot of makeup looks. So the first one I want to start off with is like a smudging brush. This is by Sephora. This is their number 18 brush, and this retails for $20. But this one is phenomenal for any kind of little precision smudging out that you need. This next one is by Spectrum Katie Jane Hughes. This is their number 21 brush, and I love how tiny it is, but I love this one for the lower lash line or in the inner corner or in the crease, wherever I want to do any kind of smudging. I actually really like this one for the lips as well, to blend everything out together for a lip brush. Next, I have this one by Sigma. This is their blending E36 brush. This one retails for $15. This is the longest little blending brush ever, but it's so fluffy and it's so light. It's just such a little versatile brush for precision. It's stunning. And then last but not least, Natasha Denona, her number 4 brush. This retails for $18, and it's the tiniest little mini eyeshadow brush that you can possibly see. It has a nice dome shape to it, but it's nice and flat, but also has a nice element of smudging anything out. Again, if you want to be really precise with your eyeshadow or your eyeliner, it's really great for that kind of application. It's the cutest little thing ever, but I love her. And to finish this off, I am going to mention the Beauty Blender one more time, $20. I think this is the most versatile tool for your face, not for your eyes, but for your face. I think this is a godsend to the makeup world. So overall, I know I mentioned so many brushes, but I wanted to give you guys a variety of options, either on the more budget side, expensive, in the mid-grade, but I feel like most of these brushes, they have lasted me for so long from every single brand. So I really wanted to show my love to so many different brands and brushes in general. So I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you for watching, spending time with me and all of these makeup brushes. But for now, I'll see the next one very soon.